Hi friends, I am back. I am making another video on the rocky seashore. Now, as you can see from behind me, I made my own rocky seashore. And I'm going to teach you how to make yours if you want to do it at home. Normally, we would be doing this as a whole class, and our rocky seashore would be built in the classroom, and you'd be taking turns making different rocky seashore creatures from small group time. But I thought of this idea the other night when I couldn't sleep. And this is simply a tri-fold board. It's 3 sections. Tri means 3. 1, 2, 3. And this you can buy at the dollar store. In fact, everything you need to make this rocky seashore, you can buy the supplies at the dollar store. I bet you actually have some things at home. So for instance, you need construction paper, different colors, especially brown, white glue. This is really important. It doesn't work. It works much better than glue sticks. A pair of scissors, crayons, markers, watercolor paint. These are fun. Pipe cleaners. This is all dollar store. Wiggle eyes. Super fun. Dollar store. And tape. So what I did first was I put brown paper where I wanted the rocky seashore to be. And I got my ideas from this trusty old Tide Pole packet, this rocky seashore packet we gave you, the 3rd packet pickup. And definitely got my idea from this picture. It shows you the different zones. But I'm not labeling the zones in my rocky seashore behind me. I just chose not to. You could, because there are different zones. It also showed me different creatures that I could make, that I chose to make. You can choose whichever ones you want or copy mine. But again, in this packet, it tells you information about the different creatures. I did make a sea anemone. I'll show you how to do that. And I made a hermit crab. Try my best. I made a sea star. I made a mussel. And again, if you're not sure what these things are, this whole packet describes them really nice and simply. I didn't make a jellyfish. I chose not to. But I did make a moon snail, simply because I think that's pretty neat. They live in the ocean, and I like the name moon snail. And I made a sculpin, this type of fish that lives near the rocky seashore. And I think, well, of course I made a shore crab. And he is in my corner. I made a sea urchin. I'll show you how to make that. There's my shore crab. I just drew it. And I did my best. I used wiggle eyes. You can see what I've done here with wiggle eyes because I love using wiggle eyes. So you can use any of these sea creature ideas. The ones that I showed you are explained in more depth with these papers. But to start off, you choose where you want your brown paper to go. I simply used the rectangular parts for some of it and put them up. This is torn paper. So for instance, when you're ready to make the rocky seashore going into the water, you simply, well, what I did was, let me show you. I drew a line of how I want it to go, and I tried my best to tear it on that line. I find it easier that way, so I can kind of see a little tearing. It doesn't be perfect. It is a rocky seashore, very jaggedy, rocky. Let me just tear this. I'm trying to follow my black crayon line. Doesn't have to be perfect, like I said. And there you see, it's very rocky looking. So this part would kind of go around there and so on, down into the water. That's how I make my rocky seashore. What I also did was, with scraps, I made a few rocks. That's what these dark papers are. And normally in the classroom we would be taking paper bags and painting them. but they're really big. So this is a smaller frame of it. But same idea is you crumple it up. That's a rock. And this is where the white glue comes in handy. Gluing that on, gluing your papers on, your rocky seashore. White glue, I'm not going to open it right now. But glue, 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 this is stronger than the glue sticks. Put a lot. I need to press it down on there for a few minutes so it stays. And let it dry. Don't mess with it. Another suggestion, don't glue them on the creases because this is a trifold. You're going to be able to close it more easily. Or, keep it this way in your room. Depends on what you want. But this way it's easier if you don't actually put creatures or rocks on the creases. So once you have your shore, then I put water with simply blue construction paper. And again, I just drew some waves. And this is where I use my scissors. And you just cut out your waves. And you put them wherever you want them to go. I only did a little water. You can see where it is. And I'll give you a tip. I had to unpeel some of this to get the blue on there. So maybe do the water first before you glue all the rocky seashore. It'll be a lot easier. I learned it. But that's doing it for the first time. So once you have your rocky seashore in water, maybe you want to make a sun. That was just, I put one in the corner. Oh, I forgot. I use cotton balls to make clouds. Because those are super fun. You just stretch them. Again, use the white glue. I chose to write rocky seashore in a big paper cloud. So write the words first and then make the bubble. Remember, that's how it always works better. So you make sure you get the words in there. So I made the crab freehand. I just tried my best. But to show you, I made the fish the same way. I tried my best. And it's orange with a brown crayon in there. You can't really see. He's red with some brown crayon because these guys definitely camouflage in sand, in the water, on the rocky seashore. They definitely camouflage. I made a sea star the same way, just freehand. And I made him have little suction on top, even though they're really underneath. But I added that with a marker detail. The fun part I want to show you for sure is making the sea anemone. Might be hard to see what this looks like, but those are pipe cleaners. And what you do is take a piece of paper, fold it in half, and just cut this in half. You don't need this big piece. And then roll it up like a cylinder. You might remember have done this doing this in kindergarten. I remember doing something like this in kindergarten for something. I forget what it was. But I just use one piece of tape right now to tape it. It's easier than the messy glue. This is kind of tall, but what you need to do is cut little lines like this. If you can see both of those. And I'll show you right now what that is doing. It flips up because this is what you will glue on, I'll do the rest, onto your rocky seashore. Otherwise, how do you make it stick? And I'll show you what it looks like. Something like this. So you put glue on, glue here, here, here. So it's a flat surface. So pretend my hand is the rocky seashore. And again, you put those flat. You can make this shorter also. Mine is shorter. In fact, I can just, even if you make it this way, you can cut it down. You can use any color construction paper you want. This is a sea anemone, and they are different colors. And see this, by doing that, it will make it stick. Mine sticks really well. It's like, this is standing up. It's like this. And then, pipe cleaners, if you want to use. Here's a whole one. I folded it in half. And I actually cut it in half. And then to make those spikes, or tentacles, you stick it through, see the bottom there? Then you can do this. It stays that way. And actually, you might want, I'll just experiment, maybe you want a taller one. Maybe you want to use the whole size. That'd be really gigantic tentacles. Stick it through. Again, fold it back. That's the fun thing about pipe cleaners. They bend so easily. So it looks something, well, I can see the little hook. The hook is what grabs it onto there. And that'll stay once those are glued down. But you have to put these in first before you glue them down. I should say that. This is really tall. Maybe you don't want it this tall. Well, easy enough. Trim it. So that's how I made the sea anemone. And you can put it anywhere you want. So I put it towards the bottom of the rocky seashore area. And imagine, except for the shore crab and the sculpin, all of these other guys are underwater. That's hard to do that, to show that that's water there. But it shows you the different zones. It shows you the water line, but they have to always be in the water, the sculpin. That's how you make a sea anemone. The sea urchin, oh, I forgot to bring my toothpicks. But that's simply made with toothpicks. I'll show you what I did. Again, you choose whatever color you want. Draw a circle. Cut out the circle. And you glue your toothpicks on one side of it. So, for instance, I'll just show you where the toothpick goes. Totally forgot to get this from the kitchen. So I'm hoping maybe you have toothpicks at home. If not, dollar store. Dollar store has so many neat things. So see where the glue is? You can just put the toothpicks on top of the glue. And then let it dry. It only takes a few minutes. The other day I did this and it was super hot. So it took no time to dry. And then I made a second circle. And you can use the same color or just different, because these creatures are actually quite colorful. And once the toothpicks are dry, pretend those are on there. On the bigger circle, toothpicks are sticking out, let's pretend. You glue it on. And you would have spikes coming out the toothpicks. And then you can glue this onto your rocky seashore, wherever you'd like it to go. So that's why you would need two circles. That's what I kind of figured out. But I thought it was fun using toothpicks because sea urchins are very spiky. And if you read further in your packet, it has great information. It tells you why they're spiky. It's a very good defense mechanism. So that's the main gist of how to make your own rocky seashore if you want to make your own at home. And again, normally this would be a whole school classroom project. All the first grade class would be making this gigantic rocky seashore on one of our walls. But since we can't do that, I thought, why not try to make their own? And again, all of these supplies are at the dollar store, and you probably have some at home also. Cotton balls, toothpicks, colored paper, scissors, white glue, really important. They have this at the dollar store. Tape, toothpicks, pipe cleaners, wiggle eyes. All of this is super fun. Dollar store crafty things. Oh, and I also mentioned markers because I added details on the fish and the lobster, the crab, the hermit crab. I just copied the picture that was in here. That's how I made mine. You know, they live in that giant shell and they trade up when they get too large. Wiggle eyes. It's super fun. Well, friends, I have to go. I'm going to get cut off. But this is another idea what you can do at home this summer. Rocky Seashore. It's part of first grade. All right. And if you have any questions about this further, you can always email me. I'm happy to help. All right, friends. Hope you have fun. Use paint for the sky.